Hello Sagittarius, welcome to your full moon and Gemini reading. We have a full moon in Gemini, November 30th, 2020, and it's going to be about 1:30 in the morning. So let's pull a Celtic cross of swords for you. And I have a card falling out of the deck already right here. Right at the center we have the Four of Cups. I really see this as like destroying some kind of illusion. It is in reverse, and so it looks like someone could have tried to, I'm hearing manifest, it could have tried to hand you something, whether it be from an unknown source or a questionable kind of source, wherever this came from. I'm hearing income. And it could be a communication of some kind as well. And it looks like you're not buying it, really, and that seems like it's a good thing. And it seems to be heavily focused on some kind of burden as well. Some kind of back-breaking burden or work. There's a lot of fiery, passionate energy. And I'm pulling an extra card here, and it's the Magician. Your crowning card, the Magician, so you could be juggling, I'm hearing finances. So you could be juggling something, but you could also really be someone who's extremely, have a lot of power to manifest your potential or your will. You could be working with the elements during this time, for sure. And it looks like that you're doing a lot of manifesting of your potential, of your will, which is really all that magic is just to manifest your potential. And it looks like something that's like kind of your wheelhouse for you. It's also the card of electromagnetism, so you could be experiencing with your own, perhaps, or even your own body. I'm hearing mind, mind's eye, but your own body's electromagnetism. And so that's a really cool, I'm hearing art. Looking in the past, we have the Sun card in reverse. I don't know if you've been kind of a night owl, but this is also a card of regeneration, rejuvenation. It's a card of youth. You could be feeling a little bit drained or exhausted from something that has you feeling like the adulting or the maturity of life has put you in a place where you feel like you need something to reconnect you to your youth. And you could just feel a little bit aged by this situation. But focusing on this burden here, this back-breaking burden, it looks like you have been through a lot. And whatever it is has been really draining to you. So make sure that you're having enough also, sunlight and water we have here. Sunlight and water in relation to your health. Make sure that you're having enough rest and things that you need to rejuvenate and recover from this situation. We'll see if we can't, what it looks like to move forward here. From this burdensome, I'm hearing process. And again, a focus on youth. We have the Six of Cups in reverse, next to the Four of Cups in reverse here. And we can see a baby in the stars. As a man on the other side of these cups is kind of overlooking the same stars. And so we see this like reflection so you can see him here barely. Here's his face. Here's the baby's face. And he's kind of like reflecting on youth. He's kind of reflecting on perhaps even his own childhood. So again, you could be called to like reconnect those strands. I'm hearing of memory, or to memory, or do a little bit of like child work, if that's something that is, if that's something that you're called to do during this time. Rejuvenile, right? So hopefully you haven't come in contact with something that's really ruined it's like the balance of innocence and maturity has been upturned somehow. You could have had some kind of like level of exposure to something, I'm hearing toxic. Hopefully not, but it looks like that could be a focus. And let's look at really is like what is the underpinning of this situation or what lies beneath. This could be something happening in the subconscious mind, but it's like the reversal, I'm hearing role reversal, of, it's like that youthful, vibrant, and it's like to attain that youthful and vibrant energy that's very playful, also as a work dynamic, is really what this card is all about. And it can really help your growth process. 5 is the number of conflict, but here it's seen as a playful conflict, and that's a lot of energy. You could have maybe had some kind of burnout. I don't know if this is happening in a subconscious realm here or on a mental plane, but it looks like you could have some kind of, like you could have had some kind of burnout, or like you've really been, I'm hearing suffering, but like you've really been hurting to have kind of a more youthful interplay, where it's like, it's also the card of witty banter. And it's really like you need that youthful regeneration and that youthfulness in communications and in your workplace as well, to really stay afloat. And it looks like you're fully capable. It is the card of the Magician here in your crowning position, and so it's good for you. Let's look at hopes and fears, and we have the Empress card, the card of gravity. And she is pregnant here, standing in some really calm waters at the new moon. So it could be something that's a new cycle for you, a new birth. It could be a literal or a metaphorical birth, something that's hopes and fears. So you could be hoping to birth something. I'm hearing the word destiny. You could be hoping to birth something during this time. So perhaps you're really just looking at like the care. I'm getting freedom. I'm seeing the word in text, freedom. And so you could be trying to birth some kind of project or idea, and you're in the process where it's like you really are like nurturing it like a baby, like that's mine. I want to make sure that it has a healthy growth process, and it's manifest properly. And that's so like the Magician too. So I see this as really like also like a nature nurture kind of card, where it's like you're not just manifesting. I'm hearing spirit. You're not just manifesting, and you're not just making it happen, and you're not just really solidifying it in the 3D, but it's the process of creation itself that you love. And so it seems like something that's rather precious to you. Let's look at finances, and we have the High Priestess card, two feminine cards right next to each other here. So a lot of feminine energy going on, a lot of focus on fertility as well as feminine wisdom. Divine feminine, also I'm hearing magic, as the power of manifestation of the divine feminine is a focus for you in your work. It looks like it could be your work or what your work entails, or it's just something that you bring to your work. This could be you yourself as that force. It also has like a really mysterious element to it. I'm really seeing this be like something like that's a magical interplay for you. And it's also a focus on like the solar plexus and sacral here, right at the seat, almost like the seat of intention. You can barely see the silhouetted woman here. And it looks like she's got, is that a snail shell or nautilus above her head? So I don't know if anyone is familiar with Fibonacci or the golden spiral, but the golden spiral is a pattern found in life and so many things, right? It's one of the underlying patterns that make up our world. And so you could be even analyzing that, or you could be analyzing things on a micro and macro scale as far as this force of creation is concerned. And it looks like you're really just in sync. Let's look at love, and we have the typical romantic hero, which is Perseus. This is a really good one. I'm pleased that this is coming up in the relationship. I'm hearing advice. So here is Perseus, and he's beheading Medusa, and he also has Pegasus here, so he's got a really sweet ride. And it's the Grail night, the night that goes after the Holy Grail, the night that rescues the Princess Andromeda. And so that's a really good one. You could have had someone step into your life, or perhaps you're even just desiring this kind of interplay. Perhaps you're just desiring this kind of dynamic or relationship where you feel like you're kind of waiting on your knight, and his white winged horse to kind of like fly in and wipe out some kind of monster in your life. And it looks like that's something that is absolutely a potential for you. So that's cool. Okay, Destiny card. We've got radioactivity. Again, with the power to manifest, it's like this guy has, we see these 7 swords as he's like, it almost is like they're coming out of his eyes. But this is really about also something that requires intense focus, but it's like almost like an indirect, needing some kind of more indirectness as far as manifesting some kind of potential or mental activity, and it's also the card of radio. I'm hearing radiotronics. I'm hearing instruments. I'm hearing of return. And so it could be something where it's like this guy looks like he's staring, almost like a staring contest, like he's looking really dead on right at me. So you could be called to have something like to be able to have some kind of manifestation of your potential that's using a more indirect focus. You don't want to scare people. It looks like you're really intense. I mean, this guy is like intensely focusing. So you might want to dial it down, because as the magician, you might come on really strong or intensely to people. I'm seeing you as having, you know, like a really intense. I'm hearing aura, but I'm thinking personality, where you're just it could also be a sensuous thing for you. It could be an intellect, like a deeply intellectual thing for you. Let's look at any miscalculations, errors, miscommunications. We're getting the Seven of Cups right out next to the Seven of Swords here. Hopefully no one has tried to... Again, I see this as like... The Four of Cups is like too much of a good thing. And we see that in reverse, something being handed from an unknown source. Perhaps you're turning it down. We see this Cups card again as this guy, the Seven of Cups, and he's looking out over all of his options here. He's looking out over all of his options here. But this, you know, you have to be careful about this card, because it can absolutely give the sense of illusion. Illusion or even delusion about a particular subject matter. We see the Devil here in one of these cups as a force of alluring and also temptation as well. I mean, it looks like you're really turning that down during this time. It looks like whatever it is, I don't know, it could be, hopefully it's not an addiction. I'm hearing finance again. Whatever it is, it's like you've had it, you've been through this burden, and you're not putting up with any crap anymore, and now you have learned to even recognize it. So good for you, Sagittarius, and that is your Gemini, full moon in Gemini 2020 reading for November 30th.